Let's blast off.
Ready to head to Mars with Rock Hudson and a dash of Ray Bradbury.
This miniseries is a classic, and looking at how it adapts Bradbury's work and adds its own spin tells us a lot about how we view Mars colonization and even humanity itself.
Okay, so to set the stage, we're talking 3 episodes aired back in 1980, based on Bradbury's famous book, Rock Hudson. Darren McGavin, Bernadette Peters, big names. Even for those who haven't seen it, what's interesting is the Mars, they depict breathable atmosphere, canals, desert plants, not the Mars we know from science.
Exactly. And to understand that choice, it helps to remember Bradbury's book isn't a single story, but interconnected short stories. The miniseries mirrors this jumping around in time, which gives it a unique feel.
Let's jump into episode 1, the expeditions, what really hooks you right away.
It starts with a bold what-if scenario. We see the Viking 1 probe landing in 1976, the real mission that searched for life on Mars. But here's the twist. There are Martian settlements just out of frame of the probe's camera. Immediately, it makes you question our perception of history and possibility.
This sets up a tension between what scientists on Earth think they know about Mars and the reality hidden just beyond their reach.
And that tension drives the entire first episode. We have these 3 Zeus missions, each more tragic than the last. Zeus 1 in 1999 ends with the astronauts killed by a jealous Martian husband.
This isn't your friendly ET-type alien encounter. It's clear from the start that communication is going to be a major hurdle, and it gets even more complicated when you factor in the Martians' telepathic abilities.
Right, this isn't just laser beams and spaceships, it's a clash of minds. Zeus 2, landing in 2000, finds a replica of Green Bluff, Illinois, complete with loved ones from the astronauts' past. It's a Martian trick, using human memories and longing against them again, highlighting this miscommunication and the danger of assumptions.
It's like they walked into a custom-made trap, tailored to their deepest desires, so 2 missions down, both ending disastrously, you'd think humanity might reconsider right.
But exploration, even when tinged with tragedy, has a powerful pull. Zeus 3, led by Colonel Wilder in 2001, actually does make a major discovery. 5 abandoned Martian cities, but instead of joy, there's this sense of haunting loss. Civilization's been wiped out by chickenpox, brought over by the earlier missions.
It's a stark reminder that first contact isn't always glorious. We can unintentionally cause harm, even with the best intentions. What's the crew's reaction to this discovery?
It varies. Some are relieved that Mars is now open for colonization, but astronaut Jeff Spender is devastated. He sees the tragedy, the potential for human destructiveness, even in explorers. His internal conflict is a powerful reminder of the ethical questions surrounding exploration and colonization. He ultimately snaps, lashing out at his fellow astronaut.
This Spender character is clearly wrestling with some big ideas. He's not a stereotypical gung-ho space explorer, but someone grappling with the moral weight of their actions, and his breakdown suggests that maybe humanity isn't quite ready for this responsibility.
Exactly, and that sets the stage for the rapid colonization that we see in the next episode. Will humanity repeat the mistakes of his past on Mars? That's the question that lingers in the air as episode 1 closes.
So the first episode ends with this sense of impending change, almost like a storm brewing. Does episode 2, The Settlers, live up to that anticipation?
Absolutely, we see Mars rapidly transform. Think frontier towns, gold rushes, but on a planetary scale, all these new settlements, each named after the fallen astronauts, a constant reminder of the mission's cost, but also of humanity's relentless drive to expand.
It makes you wonder if we're hardwired for this kind of expansion, this need to push boundaries, even if it means repeating past mistakes. Is it hope for a new start, or just the same old patterns playing out on a different stage?
That's the central question, isn't it? And the miniseries doesn't shy away from the complexities. We see greed, corruption, even prejudice mirroring the issues that plagued Earth. This isn't a utopian vision of Martian life. It's a reflection of our own human flaws.
It reminds me of that saying, wherever you go, there you are. We can't escape ourselves, even on another planet. But you mentioned earlier that The Settlers takes a mystical turn. What did you mean by that?
Well, amidst this very human drama, we have Father Peregrine, a missionary, who arrives with the settlers. He has this near-death experience where he's saved by these mysterious blue lights.
Okay, that definitely sounds like a departure from the Wild West vibe we were talking about.
Right, it injects this element of the unknown, something that science and technology can't fully explain.
Yeah,
And Peregrine becomes obsessed with finding the source of these lights.
I can see how that would be hard to ignore. So what does he discover? Are we talking alien technology or something even stranger?
Stranger in a way, the blue lights turn out to be ancient Martians, beings of pure energy who've existed for millions of years. They represent a completely different form of life, a spiritual dimension that challenges human understanding. It's like the miniseries saying, hey, there's more to the universe than you can perceive.
That's a pretty mind-blowing concept, especially alongside the more familiar sci-fi tropes. It suggests that maybe our scientific lens isn't enough to understand the universe, that we need to open ourselves to other possibilities.
And this ties back to those Martian telepathic abilities we discussed earlier. These beings can tap into our minds, take on forms that resonate with us. Remember David Lustig, the astronaut from Zeus 2? Well, he reappears in the colony, much to his parents' shock.
Wait, I thought he was dead. Didn't he perish in that Martian illusion?
It seems his parents' grief, their intense desire for his return, somehow manifested him back into existence, if only temporarily later. Father Peregrine encounters a Martian who takes the form of Jesus. It's a reminder that the Martians are mirrors reflecting our own beliefs, hopes, and fears back at us.
That's a powerful image, the Martian as Jesus. It suggests that faith and belief can be powerful forces, but also that they can be manipulated even by beings we don't fully understand.
And this ties into the larger theme of communication. Are we truly seeing the Martians as they are? Or are we just projecting our own biases onto them? And if they're so attuned to our thoughts, what happens when those thoughts turn dark?
Which, given the greed and corruption we see among the settlers, seems almost inevitable. Does this internal tension boil over?
It does, but not in the way you might expect. As tensions rise on Mars, things back on Earth are spiraling out of control, nuclear war breaks out, and the U.S. government, in a panic, cuts off all support for the Mars colony.
Talk about adding fuel to the fire. That must have thrown the colony into chaos.
It does. Many settlers abandon Mars, desperate to return to Earth, even with the knowledge of the war. But some, like Sam Parkhill, the astronaut who survived Spender's rampage, decide to stay.
Always the survivor, that Park Hills too. I can't imagine anyone willingly staying on a newly colonized planet with a nuclear war raging back home. What happens to him?
He's hoping to capitalize on the potential influx of refugees by opening a diner. But his plans are shattered when, in a moment of fear, he shoots a Martian that appears before him. This act has unexpected consequences. More Martians appear, pursuing him across the Martian landscape, but instead of punishing Parkhill, the Martians offer him something extraordinary: half of Mars. And they utter a cryptic warning. The night is tonight. Prepare.
Whoa, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It's like they knew about the war all along. Wow.
As he watches Earth through a telescope, expecting to see refugees, he witnesses something far worse. Earth engulfed in a nuclear holocaust.
Talk about a gut-wrenching moment.
It's a stunning twist. The stage is set for a truly unforgettable conclusion.
That cliffhanger ending to the settlers has me on the edge of my seat.
Well, The Martians, this final episode, takes us into a space that's less about colonizing a planet and more about confronting what it means to be human when everything you knew is gone. We begin with Colonel Wilder still holding on to hope that some Earth survivors might be out there. He goes back to Earth, but all he finds are ruins and recordings of those final moments before the bombs hit. It's heartbreaking realizing he's truly among the last.
It's like that saying, you can't go home again, taken to a cosmic level. So he returns to Mars burdened with this knowledge. What kind of Mars is he coming back to?
A Mars, where the few remaining colonists are grappling with isolation, each in their own way. There's Benjamin Driscoll alone in First Town, driven nearly mad by loneliness. He desperately searches for any sign of life, ending up at a beauty salon in another settlement.
A beauty salon. It seems so out of place in this post-apocalyptic scenario.
That's Bradbury for you. He contrasts the mundane with the extraordinary, making us ask what truly matters when facing existential crisis. That beauty salon represents a yearning for normalcy, for beauty, for a connection to what was lost.
So who does Driscoll find in this Martian beauty parlor?
Genevieve Seltzer, a woman seemingly in denial about their situation. She's obsessed with her appearance, clinging to remnants of her old life. Interestingly, the miniseries changes her character quite a bit from Bradbury's original story in the book. She's more needy and desperate, driving people away. Here, she's vain and self-absorbed, which makes Driscoll choose solitude instead.
It's fascinating how adaptations make choices like that. It's not just translating a story to screen, it's reinterpretation, which can spark debate among fans. So we've got Wilder grappling with Earth's destruction, Driscoll battling loneliness, and Genevieve lost in her beauty world. What about other characters?
There's Peter Hathaway, whose story is perhaps the most poignant. He seems content living with his wife and daughter. He even signals a passing rocket, hoping for rescue. But when Wilder and Father Stone arrive, the truth is revealed. His family is gone. He's surrounded by robotic replicas, unable to let go of the past.
Oh, wow. It's tragic, but also deeply relatable. Grief can be so powerful. It makes you think about technology and how it can blur the lines between reality and what we wish was real.
Hathaway's story pushes us to ask what true connections, how we grieve, and whether some losses are simply impossible to move on from.
Amidst all this loss and despair, what about the Martians? Do they play a role in this final act?
They do, and it's here we get the most profound glimpse into their nature. Wilder has this encounter with a Martian where they stand in the same spot, but each sees a different reality. Wilder sees ruins, the Martian sees a bustling city. They're like phantoms to each other, existing in different dimensions of time and perception. It's a humbling reminder that there might be truths beyond what we can currently see or understand.
It makes you wonder if true understanding between such different beings is even possible. So how does it all end? What becomes of Wilder and those who remain?
Wilder, having seen both the destruction of his world and a glimpse of something new, makes a choice. He embraces Martian culture, seeking to learn and build a future free from Earth's mistakes. He gathers his family and says, "We are the Martians now." He even destroys the last rocket, severing their physical connection to Earth.
It's a powerful ending, both hopeful and melancholic. Humanity lost its home, but found a new start, a chance to learn from a different way of being.
It's also open to interpretation. Did Wilder make the right call? Can humanity truly change? The miniseries doesn't give easy answers. It gives us more questions, which is its strength.
We know Ray Bradbury disliked the miniseries, calling it boring. Why do you think that was?
It likely comes down to the challenges of adaptation. Bradbury's book is nuanced, poetic. Condensing that into 3 episodes means changes, streamlining, and reinterpreting characters. Some choices like Genevieve strayed from his vision.
It shows that adaptations are interpretations filtered through the creator's lens sometimes, that clashes with the original author's intent.
And it's worth noting, the producer Milton Sabatsky was known for sci-fi, like the Dalek films. He brought a focus on spectacle and adventure, which might not have aligned perfectly with Bradbury's style.
So the Martian Chronicles miniseries, visually striking, thought-provoking, and showcasing the power of Bradbury's story, even if he wasn't thrilled with it. Any final thoughts for our listeners out there?
It's a time capsule of anxieties about the future fascination with Mars and our struggle to find our place in the cosmos. It reminds us that exploration isn't just about technology. It's about confronting our humanity, our flaws, and our potential for both creation and destruction.
Well said. And for you listening, as we venture further into the unknown, what lessons from our past will we bring? Will we repeat mistakes or forge a new path among the stars, guided by wisdom and a deeper understanding of ourselves and this vast universe? Thanks for diving deep with us.